Welcome to ClawFA. Picture a defender completely refusing a wide-open pass just because the tactical system demands a completely different route.
Right.
Or, picture a team dropping into this ultra-compact shape and basically just inviting the opponent to attack them.
Yeah, just soaking it up.
Exactly. And then picture a third image, an attacker completely abandoning their assigned position to just create something out of absolutely nothing.
You are looking at three completely different ways to win a football match.
You really are. And welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're immersing you in the 2026 landscape of ClawFA. And for those of you who might be new, ClawFA is the absolute pinnacle of competitive club football right now.
It really is the apex.
Yeah. And we've got a fascinating stack of structural data and club philosophies to unpack for you. We are looking at three top-tier clubs today: Mancunia, Marlborough, and Welsford.
And we aren't just giving you a dry history lesson here. We're looking at how these core philosophies dictate everything on the pitch today.
Right. Which brings us to our central question for you to keep in mind. Which football identity is ultimately the hardest to stop? Is it the algorithm, the glacier, or individual magic?
It's a great question.
So let's jump right in with the algorithm. Mancunia FC. The Panthers. Right now, they are this undeniable data dynasty.
Yeah, they really are. And you kind of have to briefly look back at Heinrich Vogel to understand it. He established this unprecedented, almost scientific foundation for the club.
Scientific, right, like treating the sport like a solvable physics equation.
Exactly. They don't look at players as unpredictable humans. They see them as data points to be optimized.
Right.
And today, under Joan Vasque, that system has reached its peak.
Yeah, they won titles in 2022 and 2024. They're a technical winning machine.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like for you watching at home?
Well, look at how they build from defense. It is entirely choreographed.
Right, like when an opponent presses them with two forwards.
Yes. If a team presses with two, Mancunia immediately reacts. Their defensive midfielder drops right between the center backs.
Creating a 3 versus 2 overload.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It mathematically guarantees them a free man. They manipulate the press perfectly. The players position themselves to create these endless passing triangles.
And what happens if they actually lose the ball?
Oh, it's a synchronized counterpress. Every player knows exactly which zone to squeeze to win it back in under 5 seconds.
Which is why I'd argue their algorithm makes them structurally perfect. I mean, it's like playing against a casino.
A casino.
Yeah. You might win a hand of blackjack, but the underlying math is rigged against you. If you play the numbers, Mancunia always wins. They are infinitely adaptable.
I have to push back on that, actually.
Really? How can a system processing real-time data not be adaptable?
Because data assumes rational behavior. What happens when an opponent just refuses to play along?
What do you mean?
Like, what if a team refuses to press entirely? What if they just sit in a deep, compact, low block and don't take the bait?
Oh, so the algorithm has nothing to manipulate.
Precisely. The data shows that when the script breaks down, Mancunia can look surprisingly sterile. They just cycle the ball in this U-shape around the penalty area.
So they just control possession, but they aren't actually controlling the match.
Right. They lack that organic soul to force a breakthrough when the math fails.
That is fascinating. Okay, so if hyperadaptability has limits, let's look at the exact opposite. The glacier, Marlborough United, the Crowns.
The establishment giant.
Exactly. If Mancunia is the disruptor, Marlborough is resurgent old money.
Yeah, built on Roland Beaumont's 24-year reign of patient greatness. And now, under Henrik Brandt, they're winning titles again. 2021, 2023. They call it proper football, properly run.
But let's explain what that means on the grass. Look at their defensive shape.
It's a masterpiece of denial. They drop into this ultra-compact 4-4-2. The distance between their defense and midfield is practically non-existent.
Yeah, they completely choke out the central areas. You cannot play through the middle against them.
No, they force you wide. And they just wait. They recover the ball deep in their own third, and the second they win it, they don't rush forward.
Right, because they refuse to become exposed. They rely on their academy development, the Wessex pedigree, to attack with this slow, methodical buildup.
Exactly. The holding midfielder is absolutely vital here. He dictates the balance. The players just know the institution isn't going to panic, so they don't panic.
It's like an index fund in a volatile stock market. While other clubs panic buy stars or change tactics, Marlborough just sits there and relies on compound interest.
That is a great way to put it. It's a form of control through denial. They outlast you.
But wait, I see a huge issue here.
Which is,
What if they're trailing by a goal with 20 minutes left?
well, that is the ultimate vulnerability of the glacier.
Because patience can just become passivity, right? If you absolutely must take the initiative, their system kind of falls apart.
Yeah, they struggle to increase the tempo on demand. Because they're so conditioned to maintain balance, they can look sluggish. They don't have a panic button.
Which is terrible when you actually need a last-minute miracle.
True. But they don't do miracles. They do inevitability. And 15 titles in 50 years proves traditional systems can still dismantle modern algorithms.
Fair point. But both Mancunia and Marlborough share one thing. They prioritize the collective system over the individual.
The system is the star, yeah.
Right. Which brings us to our third path. What happens when a club bets absolutely everything on the unpredictable brilliance of a single human being?
You're talking about individual magic. Wellsford Athletic, the Ravens.
The glamour giant of ClawFA, built on continental flair and attacking verve.
Yeah, Patrice Levay started this whole aesthetic of technical sophistication in the 80s. And today, it's all about the Renouf moment.
Tobias Renouf, this young, generational English talent, he led them to titles in 2022 and 2025.
But tactically, this isn't just about showing off. When you wear that emerald and black kit at Wakefield Park, the institution demands a visual spectacle.
But how does that translate to their actual structure?
They build up play normally. But the entire goal is to isolate Renouf one-on-one. The rest of the team does the heavy lifting just to get him the ball in space.
And then what?
Then the institution literally instructs him to abandon the expected pattern. They want him to create something out of nothing.
Okay, I have to challenge this. We just talked about Mancunia's math and Marlborough's wall. Isn't this dependence on one guy a massive structural weakness?
Why do you see it as a weakness?
Because it's tactical anxiety. If Renouf tweaks a hamstring in warm-ups, what is the backup plan? You aren't engineering a victory, you're just hoping for a miracle.
It's a massive risk, sure. But look at their trophy cabinet, 14 titles. You call it hoping for a miracle, but I call it holding the ultimate trump card.
But how does magic consistently beat math?
Because the algorithm can only predict rational behavior. It calculates what a normal player will do. It cannot calculate a genius deciding to beat 3 men on a sudden burst of inspiration.
So the irrationality is actually the weapon.
Exactly. Having a player who can bypass the entire tactical structure is the one thing a supercomputer can't predict and a glacier can't defend against.
Wow. You really can't code for magic, can you?
No, you can't.
That makes perfect sense. So let's pull all this together for you. We've got 3 distinct titans of the league. Mancunia's data-driven algorithm suffocating teams with perfect possession.
Right. And then Marlborough's glacier using deep institutional patience to outlast the opponent.
And finally, Wellsford's individual magic, throwing out the playbook to let a generational talent win it single-handedly.
But the key takeaway is that every single system has a vulnerability. Mancunia gets sterile against a low block.
Marlborough struggles to raise the tempo when they fall behind.
And Wellsford lives in constant fear of their superstar having an off day. Yet, they all win.
There's clearly no single right way to conquer the league.
Which leaves us with one final kind of provocative thought for you to mull over.
Oh, what's that?
What happens if a younger, hungrier club figures out how to synthesize all 3?
Oh, wow. That is a terrifying prospect.
Think about it.
Keep your eyes on the pitch this weekend as all of this plays out, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.